Hey, what's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. All right, man, let's talk about this right quick. Lomachenko has a big fight coming up. It isn't midnight yet where I'm at. Probably by the time this video is up, it'll be after midnight. But for the people that's on East Coast time, Lomachenko has a big fight coming up. More than likely, I'll be tuning in to watch it, to check Lomachenko out. But let's have this conversation about Lomachenko, a logical conversation. But a lot of people, particularly Lomachenko fans, they get over emotional, and get angry when you suggest in your own opinion that you don't think Lomachenko is pound for pound number one. As I said before, I've explained my case why Lomachenko is the number one pound for pound. Um, just not a long enough body of work. His resume, and like I said, he lost his second professional fight. It don't matter whether he had a early loss. He has a loss. Okay, and you could complain about what happened in the fight and whatever. At the end of the day, Lomachenko got a loss. Now, has he rebounded back from that fight? Yeah, but the funny part about it is the dude offered him a rematch, and Lomachenko was like, "Well, I don't want to go that route. I know I won the fight. Well, okay. Why didn't you avenge it? Okay. If you look at who Lomachenko's beat, once again, his two biggest wins is against. Well, I'll add three. His biggest wins is against a inactive Nicholas Walter, who had a lot of issues behind the scenes. You have to wonder, was he mentally into the fight then? A very inactive Gary Russell, who quite wasn't ready as far as experience go. See, that's the thing. Gary Russell Jr. really hadn't fought anybody at the time. And if you look at Gary Russell Jr.'s resume now, he still don't have what you would call a signature win on his resume thus far. Okay. And I'm just keeping it 100 then, not to mention some of the shit that went on with Lomachenko's team. Basically fucking with the scale that they gave Gary Russell Jr. to weigh himself on. There was some shit behind that. But nevertheless, Lomachenko won the fight. Then he fought a Guillermo Rigondeaux that had to go up two weight classes, who's much smaller than Lomachenko. Lomachenko is small, but Rigondeaux is very small. So those are his most significant wins. Now, Guillermo Rigondeaux was considered a pound for pound by most people. But at the end of the day, it's a question about how old he is. So those are his biggest wins. The other wins ain't really nothing of significance. He struggled against Pedraza, got a decision win. Lenoris was on the verge of losing that fight, but he got the knockout. He ended up winning that fight. So yeah, and he hasn't been undisputed. As far as him getting those title shots, well, let's just face the fact. Look who he didn't beat. Since people want to go that route, he doesn't have a signature fight. He doesn't have a career defining fight. The guy is good, but he doesn't have a career defining fight. Now, even even if more than likely he'll beat Campbell tomorrow. And once again, okay, you were expected to beat Campbell. Now, if Lomachenko, who to me it appears that Lomachenko want to get out of this. I think Lomachenko is trying to get out of this before his age starts to catch up with him. Lomachenko was already 31. You didn't see Lomachenko have some hiccups in a few of his fights. And Lomachenko could have that one fight where he gets old overnight, or he has that one fight where he gets nailed, and then he's in deep trouble. Okay, but if Lomachenko could get Tank in the ring and he beat somebody like Tank, then he go on to beat somebody like Mikey Garcia, who already has the loss against Errol Spence. But Mikey Garcia at the time was considered a top 5 pound for pound fighter. Then we can make that argument about how good Lomachenko is. But when you hear these people say, well, you just critiquing Lomachenko and you're just saying he's not the best because he's not black and all that. No, I'm just going by his resume. I'm just keeping it 100. And people try to say, well, a lot of people lost fights early in their career and came back. Bernard Hopkins lost his first professional fight. Yeah, but it took Bernard Hopkins years before he was in that top 10 discussion and before people started giving him his props. Lomachenko got put in the top 10 like after like basically after his first 6 fights. And to be honest with you, they have not really tried to go out of their way to find somebody that they think could really give Lomachenko a challenge. When the very thought of him fighting Terrence Crawford came up, people was like, hey, wait, whoa. Hey, that's not right. That's not, hey, Terrence Crawford is too big. Okay. But now here's the thing. Now there's talking him fighting Manny Pacquiao, which I'm gonna talk about that later on. Then once again, oh well, that fight doesn't make sense. See, this is how you catch people slipping. People need to really look in the mirror and see who the real, like I said, racists are. Because it ain't me. My assessment of Lomachenko is fair. This dude don't even got like 20 fights in, but people saying he's better than a lot of the fighters that got 30, 40 fights in, no losses. That's where the problem lies. I don't have to accept Lomachenko as the number 1 pound for pound fighter on the planet. If you think he number 1, then that's you. But you don't have the right to come on my channel, my outlet, and tell me that I have to anoint Lomachenko number 1 pound for pound. And like I said, I ain't with that white Jesus bullshit. He ain't white Jesus. Not even close. Jesus wasn't white anyway. But I'm just keeping it 100. I hear this all the time. And this is the biggest problem that go on with boxing channels. People listen to our channels, but then they want to tell us what to say on our channels. But then they copy and swagger jack from our channels, but then they want to try to talk shit about us. Lomachenko was not number 1 in my opinion. I'm just keeping it 100. But anyway, this your boy Town Biz. I'm out.